Hello, I'm very excited to be here. My name is Lisa Vecchio. I am the B2B Marketing Director at VEED. We are an AI video creation platform. So hopefully today I will be able to help you cut through the noise around AI and video, but also we'll look at some practical tips that you can use to scale your marketing strategy. So just bear with me with my, I've got some clickers going on here, but basically let me take you back in time, a long, long time ago. And can you believe that March 2023 was only a little over 2 years ago when basically OpenAI's rapid advances sparked excitement and fear? I think we can all agree, because maybe AI wasn't theoretical anymore. It was actually here for everyday people like us, and it was evolving faster than we all could have predicted. Now, AI exploded into the mainstream. OpenAI was everywhere. Elon Musk launched his arrival, kind of a sticky topic at the moment, but also the Future of Life Institute literally asked the industry to slow down and pause development. It was moving too fast. Meanwhile, us marketers here are sitting here thinking, cool, but how does this actually help me launch next week's campaign, right? The reality was we didn't really know where to start or how AI could be applied practically to our day-to-day. So it was also really easy to get caught up in the hype, right? You might remember this, what I've got on screen here. It was Coca-Cola's Christmas campaign last year in 2024. It sparked excitement and backlash. Let's take a look. I'm just going to play about 10, 20 seconds. Okay, I'm going to pause it there, right? Because Coca-Cola's, I think it was their Real Magic AI platform, created this. And the idea was to tap into nostalgia, right? This was a famous campaign, an iconic campaign from 1995. Holidays are coming home, but reactions were mixed, right? Look at some of the comments here on the screen. And let's be real. We aren't Coca-Cola, or most of the brands I'm guessing on this call aren't Coca-Cola. We don't have $1 million budgets, CGI teams, or endless headcount. What we do have, though, is, as I think most can appreciate, we're juggling go-to-market launches, sales enablement decks, webinars, ad creative, on 2 coffees, and half a broken content calendar. So that brings us to where we are today. And where we are today, AI is now becoming operationalized. I'm just thinking about how I was using AI, let's say in ChatGPT, things like that 12 months ago. It's a game changer. I never knew I could be so good at prompting, right? Little secret skill in my back pocket there. It's now built into how we search, how we shop, how we create, and how we think. And if you look at this tweet from Sam Altman, ChatGPT, when they launched that new image generation feature, it was 1 million users in an hour, 1 hour. Faster than ChatGPT itself grew with its initial launch. Before that, they were, I think, reaching 1 million users in 5 days. 5 days. So what drove that explosion? Well, this might look a little familiar to you, right? This viral Studio Ghibli image trend, it overwhelmed OpenAI servers because demand was so high. If you didn't create one, you might still create them. You'll find them on your LinkedIn just through scrolling. They're everywhere, right? This is an example of actually VEED's social team. Some of the VEED team themselves were jumping on this trend. But I think the point I want to make about this trend is we're marketing in a world now where imagination literally moves at the speed of a click. So there's a catch to this. Your customers don't want trends, right? They want value. And a lot of brands assume that staying relevant means jumping on every single trending meme, format, or viral moment. And while everyone was jumping on this trend, even some of the speakers from our conference, Emma, created this beautiful image to help promote it. So I just wanted to say it is a bit of fun. Not everyone landed it well. So LaCroix, a sparkling water company, they had this attempt on the right. They received a massive backlash for racial profiling. It was quickly pulled down, and it was called tone deaf for obvious reasons, right? So just because something is trending doesn't mean it's right for your brand or your audience. Oops. My clicking skills. So here's the real question. Beyond jumping on trends, what problems should AI actually be fixing for marketers, and where can it drive real impact, not just novelty? Now, thanks to AI, no surprise to anyone here, global reach is now more attainable than it's ever been, and efficiency, I think, everyone here could also agree they're sick of their board or their CEO saying, do it with AI, be more efficient. Where can we save costs, cut the team, look at new tooling, right? But content creation is also evolving. And this is really important point because it's not just evolving faster, but it's smarter. Think back to that Ghibli image generation trend we literally just talked about. It started with a simple prompt, right? Create me an image. And a year ago, would you have prompted that into ChatGPT or anything else and actually use that image in your marketing? Probably not. There was so much distrust around AI generated content and visuals. The quality just wasn't there, right? So OpenAI's new model changed the game. Literally a few weeks ago, it changed the game. It set a new standard for AI image quality. And most importantly, it shifted trust. So think about this now. If you can create high quality images at scale, and you put a bunch of high quality images together, what do you get? The next logical leap is video. And that's the shift that we're about to dive into. Now, you may be asking yourself, sorry, let me just get here. Yeah, skipping ahead. Okay. Our audience is video first, right? And that's because video drives better retention, stronger engagement, and conversions, better conversions than text ever could. Short form video is now expected at every single stage of the buyer journey, from awareness to decision-making to retention, right? You're thinking about video. Thinking about the numbers, viewers retain 95% of a message delivered via video compared to just 10% of text, according to Expedia. And marketers who use video to grow revenue are growing 49% faster than those who don't, according to WordStream. So it's not an add-on anymore. It is the centerpiece. And I've got some more data to share with you in just a moment. So I think what I really want to say about this, though, is people aren't creating enough video at work, right? Video is where our audience is, yet it's not happening every day in our workspaces. And there's an obvious reason why, right? I think there's this lingering misconception that video content is only created by professional editors. You need big agencies and big budgets, right? It's seen as slow, expensive, and even time consuming to do another round of edits or change it into another language or fix that mistake. It's why so many marketers are hesitant to invest in video, but I don't think it's about lack of will. You've all seen the data. You're all on LinkedIn. You're all, seeing how it's being incorporated into your consumer life. It's about a broken process. So here's where I think the big shift is actually happening. Traditional Google search is losing ground. I'm pretty sure this was incorporated in some of the talks earlier today, especially with the rise of LLMs, right? Inbound is declining, outbound is becoming oversaturated. Marketers, we need new ways to reach our buyers, and that means embracing where they actually are. Platforms like LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube are becoming new discovery engines, especially for B2B. And Rand Fishkin, founder of SparkToro, founder of Moz, has put it perfectly in his most recent talks. I saw him speak recently. He said, it's time to start building on rented land. You can see that in the screenshot we have here. He's talking about the impact of his own reach on LinkedIn using video being more powerful than other places. If we can't over rely on search anymore, people aren't clicking, right? We're learning all about why people aren't clicking, but where they are clicking is on the channels where people are consuming content, right? So we need to be distributing smart, engaging content where buyers are already spending their time. And frankly, that is social. So this is where video comes in, right? Marketers are seeing greater ROI from video because more B2B buyers are engaging with video before purchase, and the platforms are responding. LinkedIn has seen video uploads up 34% year over year, and it's their fastest growing format. And actually, as early as last week, this post on the right is from April 23rd, Google has started testing their AI overview feature on YouTube. It's pulling in AI-generated highlight clips into video carousels to show up for certain queries. So it's a limited test, only happening to a small group in the US at the moment, but we can imagine this is likely to expand, right? What we've seen so far in search, it can start affecting product-related and local searches. So it's definitely one to watch and another reason to start investing in video. So this brings us to the opportunity that I really think is at our fingertips. And when you combine social and the rise of video, what does your audience actually need from you now? What are they expecting from you? It's not more content for content's sake. It's more relevant content for how they build, discover, decide, and buy today. So what are people doing in the B2B world for video today, right? Today, B2B video is fairly polished. It's safe. We're seeing a lot of familiar formats, culture videos that show company life, tutorial videos that explain how to, testimonials from customers, and of course, lots and lots and lots of talking heads, right? There is good news here. B2B brands are investing in video, but the challenge is it all looks and feels a bit same. Yeah, can you agree? Maybe I'm not in the chat right now, but give me a thumbs up if you agree. The good news here is that the way we create and use video in B2B is going to fundamentally shift. And honestly, we're already starting to start seeing it, right? In the future, B2B will follow B2C, and a lot of our research is pointing to this, right? We're going to be seeing more edutainment, not just dry product videos, but educational and entertaining content that captures attention, humor, humility, right? Bringing the human back and having a bit of fun. Video first interactive format. So buyers won't just watch videos, they'll interact with them. Shoppable demos, interactive tutorials, clickable case studies. And growth of owned media, we're seeing a lot of this. More brands will act like publishers. Think of Exit 5 or so many other brands that we know so well, starting to think about building their own communities, right? Building podcasts and video series to create owned audiences outside of traditional ad spend. And then, of course, employee advocacy. We all know that buyers trust people more than they trust brands, and video content created by your employees, authentic and importantly, even scrappy, will outperform polished brands in building trust, right? Or polished ads, for example. So in short, I think when you think about the future of B2B video, it's vertical, it's unpolished, and it's personal. And I think brands that adapt to that faster will be the ones to win. So likely the big question you're asking yourself now is, how do I make this real? And I think this is the part, hopefully, you've been waiting for. How do we actually create great marketing videos using AI to drive real demand? So at VEED, as I mentioned, we're an AI video creation company, and our tools are built by creators for businesses. And our product philosophy is 3 core pillars, right? Generate, editing, and repurpose. And I'm using this framework just to frame some of the examples that I want to share with you today. And the first one is generate, right? How do we go from an idea to a publishable video in minutes, not weeks? This is where AI is clearly changing the game for marketers. You can now instantly create AI-generated avatars to represent your brand or message. You can turn written text prompts directly into full videos, and you can add professional-grade subtitles literally in a matter of seconds. People are still hiring agencies to do this. You don't need a production studio. You don't need endless editing loops. You just need faster quality content. So let's look at some use cases. Okay. Avatars, right? I mean, everyone's familiar with avatars. They're probably one of the most powerful, but one of the most polarizing tools marketers have right now. There are lots of options. I used a screen here to, not be biased, whether you're talking about ad gen tools, enterprise, creator clones. They can dramatically lower production costs and allow us to scale fast across markets and campaign. But we need to be honest with ourselves. In some cases, people can tell when they're watching an avatar. I know I can. And I think us as marketers know that authenticity really matters, right? So the trick, or my recommendation here, is to use avatars where clarity, personalization, and speed matter most, not necessarily where that deep emotional connection is the goal. So where we are seeing wins is things like onboarding, customer education, FAQ videos, and even some paid ad tests, right? Where speed to market is critical. I'm just going to take a little sip of water here. Okay, great. So next up, we talked about avatars, and that leads us to what we call text to video, right? Where you can actually write a prompt which turns it into a video. In performance marketing, the best idea obviously aren't the ones that win the brainstorm or the big creative awards. The ones that win in performance marketing are those that actually show ROI in the A/B test, right? So with AI video tools, we can spin up creative and test multiple ad variants in hours, not weeks, so you can optimize your spend faster. I'm going to show you a short example of something we're experimenting with, but I promise not all my examples are VEED. I tried to mix it up with a variety of different things.
I was made in VEED. Just send me your product image and script, and I'll create a video for you.
So that's an avatar holding a product. And this is really where the future of, I think, e-commerce and products placements and using avatars for ad variants is going. Okay. Now we can.
So when I looked back at my early.
Here we go. Okay, we can all relate also that to when you're scrolling on LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok, you often aren't watching with sound. I know that when I'm on my train commuting, I'm not doing so. When I'm lying on the couch scrolling sometimes, and my husband's talking to me over here and I'm distracted, or even like when you're multitasking, right? You're not always having the sound on. But videos that rely on audio alone, you're actually losing your audience before you even start, right? We also have to remember accessibility is not a nice to have. As marketers, it's table stakes, right? So you can use things like AI-powered subtitles to ensure that every video you have is not only scroll stopping, but it's accessible, and you're going to see higher conversion rates from it, right? So when you start using things like AI-generated subtitles, you can also make sure that they're on brand with your font or your colors, and then use tools to make things like your brand logo fixed, right? So that you get that brand association with your branded videos. And here's just an example from Matt Lerner, who's ex-PayPal, who's a strong voice on LinkedIn.
Earliest days at PayPal, I realized something remarkable. All of their growth, all of it came from just 5 things that they tried. They did hundreds of things. Most of it didn't matter, but a handful of things were super successful.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go into the detail of what made it successful. You can go and find Matt on LinkedIn. Okay, so did I skip one? Sorry. Here we go. Okay, next up is edit, right? Now, once you have your content, whether it's created by your team through you might have a video team or an editing team or people using their phones, or it's generated by AI, how do you actually refine it without spending hours stuck in your timeline, making manual tweaks, especially if you're not a trained video editor, right? Marketers can now use things like an AI agent to automatically improve your videos based on simple prompts, like typing in, resize this for LinkedIn, add my logo, add music, for example. You can edit within the timeline, which is basically the way that your videos are kind of laid out, using magic tools that can remove silences and ums. They can automatically remove backgrounds if it's a bit busy, and even eye correct if you have that weird side eye going on, right? So you're able to use these tools to polish delivery without actually needing to re-record if you make that error. And that's where the third tool here, Edit by Script, is really, really cool. You can edit your video simply by editing the transcript. So you don't necessarily have to scroll through all the footage to go, what was that part I wanted to remove? You can actually look at the copy, look at what you want to add or delete, and it'll add it or delete it from your video. So they don't just, make editing easier. What they're actually doing is making marketing videos scalable, even for your small teams. And I think this is like the part I'm most excited about, because once editing becomes faster and more accessible, it unlocks a much bigger opportunity, helping your people and not just your brand or you as an individual show up on video. Let me give you an example here about employee advocacy.
Have you ever wanted to? Well, now you can. I'm about to show you how. First, get on the Suno mobile app, hit create, tap the audio button, record your voice, la 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 la. La la. Add your styles and cover anything that you make. Turn your voice, your beats, your sounds into any music you can imagine.
Now that's a fun employee advocacy example from Suno. I think they're an incredible AI brand doing really, really cool stuff, as you just saw. But basically, we know that our most powerful distribution channel today aren't necessarily our brand page. It's going to be our employees. People trust people more than they trust brands. It's that simple. So most employees aren't confident on camera, and we talk about this a lot. There's that cringe factor of, watching your video play back at you. But I think, we encourage people just to start by starting and doing their very first video, and you learn and you become more confident with the feedback. But social sellers are also telling us they don't have time, right? You're working with your sales teams. They don't have the tools or the editing skills to create those consistent high quality videos that actually get their name and your brand out there. And I think it really is a missed opportunity. So simple editing tools make it easy for anyone to record a polished video, not just execs or marketing teams. Think about your sales team, your success team, your product team. They can create credible, authentic video content to earn trust and reach a further audience than your brand post ever will. So take some inspiration here from this Suno example. Okay, and then finally, my third pillar here is repurpose. Now, we know that as marketers, we are sitting on a gold mine of content. Most of it dies after a single use, which makes all of us think like, no. We also have pressures, as I'm sure you've heard, to sweat the content, right? To make sure that we scale visibility and drive demand across different channels. So we can do things like dub and translate videos automatically to unlock these new audiences in different languages. Which is really cool. We can clip long form content like webinars and podcasts into bite-sized social ready videos. And we can turn static slides into dynamic videos. So you think about making sales decks or product explainers or internal comms a lot more engaging. So it's content that already exists that becomes video instantly. So repurposing now doesn't have to become a nice to have or a really painful process. So Skale
I can only speak English fluently until now.
Ahora estoy hablando español, un idioma que no sé hablar. Devons-nous essayer du français? Fou non?
And not only does it sound like I'm speaking these languages, it actually looks like I'm saying the words.
Meine Lippen bewegen sich, als ob ich Deutsch spreche. Doch ich spreche es nicht.
I did all of this using our dubbing tool in VEED. Just drop in your video, choose your language.
Okay, we'll play the whole thing. So scaling globally used to mean scaling costs, and that's not friendly to our budgets. And I think we've all experienced the budget cuts from time to time. So you can use AI dubbing tools like this and other ones out there. We're actually speaking at an event with 11 Labs this evening, who we're powered by, to make sure that you can repurpose your great video content in multiple languages instantly to capture those new markets without blowing the budget or relying on your regional teams to do those reshoots. So it's perfect for, let's say, field marketing teams, internal comms, or training. And that was Claire from the VEED social team, just because I think she did a brilliant job with that video. Okay.
You have this ability to become confident in every single area of your life. It's about us just learning a new series of behaviors. For example, there's something called a siren technique. In 3, 2, and 1, nahitas. I'm crazier than usual. Fantastic. That's fantastic. You did a great job, right? Okay. And then this next one.
Okay. I think most of us are familiar with the Diary of a CEO. I think they do a great job of this. Look, this was like about a 1.5-minute clip where they took the best bits, the most suspenseful moments, and used that on social. So we know that webinars are great. They're really cost effective, a great way to kind of move our leads through the funnel. But also we know that most people aren't going to sit through lengthy webinars anymore. And there's an opportunity to take existing webinars and use those as teasers, whether that's in your ad creative or in your social strategy. So with AI, we can actually clip the sharpest insights from that long form content, add captions, and turn it into weeks of high value social content. So it doesn't just boost engagement. I think it really extends that lifespan of your thought leadership without overwhelming your content team. Again, this is something anyone can do. You don't need all those big expensive resources. So where I wanted to go from here is really just to summarize and zoom out the bigger shift happening. Before AI, video campaigns could take weeks and weeks and weeks, 4 weeks, a month, even 2 months, from scripting to filming to editing, hiring the agency, getting the approvals done. You'd create 1 or 2 versions, maybe in a single language for one target region, then have to kind of roll that out to your other markets. Every asset, every ad variant had to be built manually, which meant testing at scale was expensive and slow. And now, hopefully from some of the examples I just showed you, you're able to move from idea to multi-format really, really quickly. You're able to create global multi-language assets from a single source without the massive production costs. And you're able to run that multi-variant testing at scale for your ads. So it's not just speeding things up, it's fundamentally changing, I think, the economics of how we create and scale demand as marketers. Now, I want to leave you with one little final plug here, because we talked a lot about a world where, is this going to autoplay? No. Okay. Where you can generate, edit, and scale powerful content with just a prompt. And I'm really proud of this. So I really just want to show you a quick look at what we're building at VEED with our AI agent.
Let me show you what I got. Let me show you.
So in summary, in my opinion, video isn't optional anymore. It's critical to how we create demand, build trust, and scale our brands. It's also too important that I stress that AI video is not about replacing creativity. It's about removing everything that slows that part down, right? It's about freeing us up as marketers to focus on ideas and storytelling and connection. And I think the future is faster, more human, and more scalable than we really ever thought was possible. And it is already here. So with that, I thank you for your time with me today. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please do. I'd love your feedback on this presentation specifically, or if you have any questions for me. And now I'm going to stop sharing and take some questions.
Thanks, Lisa. This was amazing. I watched throughout all the videos, and they were like, and I had one thought when you showed that video with a girl speaking Spanish, French, and so on. Yeah. I remembered that I saw some, I think it was in-app video from Temu, and it was so badly done. It was like, because I'm based in Belgrade, Serbia, and it was like video, and the back voice was in Serbian, and it sounded really bad. So they definitely need VEED to work on their videos. Also, something that our co-founder Jake mentioned in the first session, he said that video search is going to be on the rise. So by 2030, we're going to see at least 20% of share of video search. So it definitely supports these claims that you mentioned here in the presentation.
Good, thank you all. I know I was speaking a bit fast. I'm just really excited about the topic. So I hope, like I said, if anyone has any questions, let's fire them away now or in a follow-up. Yeah.
Yeah, we have one question from Maro Elda. What is the best app program for a marketer to use? For videos, I guess.
Well, I'm going to be biased, Maro. I try VEED out. We can share it around in the follow-up, but I just shared with everyone a 2-week trial. There's so many tools out there, right? So I think it really depends on what you're looking to accomplish. I think the VEED example, again, without being biased, is it's all in one. So it's everything from the creation to the editing to the repurposing, but you also have other tools out there that are great at just creating avatars or just creating dubbing or doing other things. So I recommend to experiment and try different things and see what works for your needs.
Okay, definitely. I think that she got the answer to her question. And what do you see are what kinds of video formats are performing best for B2B demand gen in 2025? What do you see as like the most popular formats now?
I think there's always a debate, right, between long form and short form, but I think short form we are seeing a lot of, right, because it's tied to social selling, it's tied to thought leadership. There's really easy ways, as we kind of just looked at, to like repurpose those webinar and podcast clips and help grow your personal brand. And we're also seeing founders, I think, lean into that a lot more with like product videos. For the example, the Suno one that I did, like that's a really authentic way to do employee advocacy, and it helps grow your business as well. So we know attention spans are short. I'm going to say lean into that short form content, 30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah, I agree 100%, definitely. And what would you say, what mistakes should marketers avoid when using AI for video? We know that they can get playing around too much, and how can they avoid some typical mistakes?
Yeah, I think have fun, right? Have fun and play around, but I'd say stick to the strategy. Like, don't let the gimmicks and the whiz kind of bang take you off course. We talked about that Ghibli image generation example where it's great to have fun with it, but also is that distracting you from the bigger strategy? How are you actually building demand with that? So make sure that it's built into your strategy, built into your workflows, and don't replace the human side. I think that's the most important point to remember is you're going to need a human layer to the creative side, the human review, and all of that. So I think anyone who's just like creating an avatar, shipping it and going, that's my brand now, is probably missing a few steps.
Yeah, definitely. Having a human touch, a human look at the videos before they go live, it's definitely one of the most important things. I know it's hard because we're living in the age of AI, but I think that we cannot forget the human touch, definitely.
Yeah, big message to deliver there, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. It was great. I enjoyed the videos. I hope the audience enjoyed it too, I'm sure. that they did. And we're going to greet another speaker now. I'm wishing you a great day and all the best. And thank you for joining.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye, guys.